Welcome to Reminiscing with History Makers. We're here today with Mark Pallans. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So to start things off, when was it that you joined APCO?
My membership started in 1987. I was at the Baltimore conference. I had been going to APCO conferences for several years before that, though, because of my interest in public safety.
Great. Could you describe your agency, position there, and brief responsibilities?
Over my lifetime, I've had many different positions. I actually started in emergency management, emergency communications while I was in high school, 1959. I joined the RACES program of the New York City Civil Defense Office, where I eventually became the county's RACES officer. And my big claim to fame there was when they had their huge blackout in the 1960s. My team, my volunteer amateur radio team, was the only public safety communications available for 2 million residents of our county for about 18 hours. And then I moved on to New Jersey, where I got involved there, and then in Florida, where my wife and I settled finally. I was involved in RACES as a volunteer, and then I was hired by the county as a county's communications engineering manager. I was responsible for all of the sheriff's department communications equipment, plus all of the telephone and networking equipment. I moved from there to Dade County, where I worked for the police department as their communications engineering manager for about 8 years. Then I was going to retire, I thought. moved to Florida. Well, I left out. Moved to Fort Lauderdale city of Fort Lauderdale first, where I ran communications for all the city public safety agencies, police, fire, emergency management. Then we moved to Florida. We moved to Nevada. Want me to start that bit again? I'll give you a little break, okay?
Sure.
Yeah. We moved to Nevada in 2004, where I ran communications for the state public safety radio system. It's 108 sites on 110,000 square miles, providing handheld radio coverage statewide for anybody that was on a state road. And then when I retired from that, finally, I became a consultant, which I'm doing today because it's fun. And I enjoy my type of work that I do. So.
Oh, that's great. You mentioned you got an early start. Was there anything in particular or anyone that was influential in getting you to join APCO?
I can't think of any one person in particular. I mean, even before I was a member, like I said, I was attending these conferences. So once a year I'd get to meet people, and we'd remember each other, and some of these people are still in APCO today, and I just gravitated to it.
Can you describe your activities in APCO at the state chapter and national level during your tenure?
I've been in 3 chapters over my career. I started out in the Florida chapter. I was a member, very active member. I was on several committees. I participated in regional conferences and local conferences. Then I moved on my way to Las Vegas, where I live now. I stopped in Phoenix for about a year, worked in Phoenix, the Arizona chapter. I was the secretary of the chapter. Then I moved on to Nevada, where I became, in addition to working for the state and the radio system there, I joined the Nevada chapter, and I also got involved in regional planning, regional frequency planning, where I rewrote all of the radio plans so they would work within the state rather than the stuff they had going on at the time.
Any activities in there stand out as a favorite to you?
I actually had a lot of fun when we got involved in the conferences. In 2009, we ran, the Nevada chapter ran the international conference here in Las Vegas, and I was a communications chair for that committee. And then this year, 2018, I'm the chairman of the whole committee. So it's always been a pleasure to be here and to enjoy. I really enjoy it.
No kidding. How would you say that your APCO membership has had a direct effect on your career in public safety and communications?
I think the name APCO is recognized in the industry. I know when I was a member and I was in a politician's office or something representing the organization or just representing public safety in general, the name APCO stood out. In my current business as a consultant, having APCO on my resume has always been a positive effect when it came to selecting me.
Definitely. What would you say that you like most about APCO? If you could narrow it down.
Man. I can't really think of anything in particular. It's meeting your peers that really appeals to me. Even if it's on a video conference or just a telephone conference, and going to the conference, the regional and national conference, being able to converse intelligently with people that are similar to me has always made a point on me.
Yeah. You mentioned APCO standing out in the industry. What would you say that APCO does better than anyone else on that front?
It's the only organization that focuses on the needs of public safety communicators. It is almost like a trade organization in that respect, that they go out and they fight for the rights and privileges of being a communicator and getting the public to recognize what a first responder is and what a dispatcher and a 911 call taker is. That's the only place you can get that kind of information.
Would you say there's anything that APCO would need to do in order to move forward or stay current in the industry?
Yes. I don't think APCO is keeping up with the trends in the industry, with the changes in technology. Primary membership of this organization has drifted from public safety technical people when it first started, way back in ancient history, to call takers and dispatchers today. And that's, to me, that is a loss of input from the technology side to the operational side. You can't have a dispatcher or a call taker effectively communicating unless they know what they're doing when they push that button or speak into that microphone. So I think APCO has to broaden its coverage of the technology aspects.
Sure. And lastly, is there anything that stands out as a significant contribution during your time in office?
I guess the most fun part I've ever had, from a business standpoint anyhow, is that I was an APCO AFC frequency advisor for several years. And I really, really enjoyed getting on the phone with a small rural community somewhere in the state of Nevada and helping them set up new radio systems and getting their frequencies for them and helping them along in the right direction so that they would have effective communications.
Great. Well, thank you again for joining us. This has been Reminiscing with History Makers.
Thank you.